Welcome. Today's video we're going to look at the very basics of getting started with Google Sheets. To use Google Sheets you need a Google account, so if you have a Gmail email address, you will have access to Google Drive and you will have access to Google Sheets. So if you're logged into your Google account, anywhere from the apps menu, if you click on it and select Drive, you'll be brought into the Drive interface. To create a spreadsheet, go to the top left hand corner, click on the red button Create and select Spreadsheet, and this will open up your first Google Sheet. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give my sheet a name. So I'm going up to the top left hand corner, click where it says Untitled Spreadsheet and type in OK. So my spreadsheet is named. All spreadsheets follow a similar structure. They're made up of vertical columns denoted by letters of the alphabet and horizontal rows denoted by numbers. Where the column and row intersect, you have a cell, and the cells are denoted by their column and row reference. So where I've selected now is cell A2, where the cell that intersects between column A and row 2. The next thing I want to draw your attention to is the formula bar. If I type value, a basic calculation into a cell, so to do a basic calculation I type in equals 1 plus 2 and I press return, I get a cell entry of 3 and the cell itself displays the result 3. But the formula bar itself displays the actual formula contained within that cell. So the formula bar will always tell you what the contents of the cell is. The cell itself will return the result. The next thing I want to point out is the status bar, and the status bar is at the bottom. The status bar just contains all the sheet or sheet names. There's a plus to add a new sheet, so if I click on it, I'm automatically added a new sheet, and this displays all the sheets if there are too many sheet tabs to display on the status bar. Over on the right hand side we have the version type, and this version that we're working off is the new style Google Sheets that have been recently launched on Google Drive. Towards the top of the interface we have the menu bar, and if I click on once and hover over them, we can see a series of sub-menus, and we will cover these items over the coming weeks. The taskbar is a selection of the most commonly used items, such as print, a few editing and formatting tools, which we'll also come to in later weeks. Last thing I want to show you is under the File menu, Spreadsheet Settings. This is where you can set your locale settings for spreadsheets. So if I click onto the Spreadsheet Settings, it brings up the locale settings. Currently the locale is set to United Kingdom. I'm going to select Ireland, a new entry for it, which is my current locale. Time zone is Dublin, which is where I'm residing, and recalculation on change. So I'm just going to leave that as is, and I'm going to click on Save Settings. And the menu bar will reformat and refresh. So the changes for the locale are subtle enough. So if I type in I had a value here of 3, and if I click on where it says null and format as a currency, if I click on it, it sets it to €3, and that is my locale settings. Now, concentrating on the main interface of the spreadsheet itself, well, let's look at a few cell entries. Say, for example, I want to put in a few headings, so I'll have payment. And then I go, well, actually I wanted to put in column A something differently. Well, that's not a problem on a spreadsheet because you can manipulate the structure at any stage. So for example, I want to insert a new column to the left, I can click on the drop down arrow of the column I'm in and select insert one left. And now I can go name. And I can type in the person's name. So there are two things that further amendments. If I want to insert a row, I can highlight the row and I can right click and then select insert one above, and that will insert a blank row above. Similarly, if I want to hide a column or row, I can select the column I want to hide, click the drop down arrow, and I can hide the column. Now you can see there are two small arrows, one pointing to the left, one pointing to the right, and also the column headings go from A to C. B is actually hidden, but if I want to unhide, I click on one of these arrows and B is visible again. Not only can we do calculations within a cell, but we can actually reference other cells. So if I want to do a calculation and I go equals, and I want to reference this value here. So this value here is in cell B3. I can click on B3 and the cell puts in the cell reference, and I click on multiplied by 25. So I'm taking the value of cell B3 and I'm increasing it by a factor of 25, and if I'm happy with that formula, I press return. And there we go. €3 by 25 gives €75. So once again, the cell is displaying the result, but the formula bar is displaying the actual calculation. Let's go to sheet 2. So I'm moving the pointer down and clicking on sheet 2, and I'll put a value of 350 in here. Now I'm going to go back to my sheet 1 and I'll go put in a calculation here. This is for referencing another sheet. So I'll go equals cell C3 this time, divided by, I'm clicking on sheet 2 and clicking on the value of 350 in A2 on sheet 2. And now something interesting happens with the formula. So it's now equals C3 divided by, and Google Sheets has put in sheet 2 exclamation mark A2. And that is Google Sheets' way of differentiating between cell A2 on this sheet compared to cell A2 on any other sheet. So I'm happy with that formula, and I'm pressing return, and I'm brought back to my original cell containing the original formula, and it's displaying a result of 21 cent, which is a result of dividing C3 by the value in A2 on sheet 2. So dividing 75 by 350 will give me 21 cent. The last thing I'd like to cover on today's lesson is how to select cells. So I can click on a cell to select one cell. If I click and hold down the left clicker and move across or move down, I can select a group of cells and they get slightly shaded. And let go, and I've now selected those cells. The advantage about doing this is I can have a common action acted upon those cells that I've selected. I can also select a cell or cells, and if I move the pointer to the border of the cell, my pointer changes to a hand, and if I hold down the left clicker, I can actually drag the contents of this cell to another cell and let go, and the contents are moved. Again, I can send this back, hold down the left clicker, drag it back to where it was. Thank you very much.